Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Talking Elite Fitness. Sean Woodland, Tommy Marquez, and Lauren Khalil here with you in our final show of 2023. Whew. And I have to say, because it's obligatory when you get to this point of year, man, that went fast.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
I mean, we're getting ready for Wadapalooza, and I remember getting ready for Wadapalooza a year ago, like it was yesterday.
It's
gone by in a flash.
This one went by very, very quick.
So what we're going to do today is we are going to give our end of the year awards. I think we started this last year, had a little fun with it. We're going to do the same thing again this year. And I guess maybe just preview what we're hoping to see in 2024.
Yeah.
A look back and a quick look ahead, but it'll be a lot of fun. So how was everyone's Christmas? Good? A little time off?
Yeah, it was great. I think I mentioned this to you earlier off camera, but played a lot of golf, actually. So Tiff's uncle likes to golf, and my brother's in town who has recently picked up the sport. So played some Christmas Eve, day after Christmas as well. And just got out there and did some landscaping. So it was and
nice.
And then enjoyed watching the Niners lose in prime time on
Christmas. What a
Christmas.
great Christmas gift that was.
Oh, it was the best.
They just got shellacked.
Oh, the energy in Levi's was.
I was enjoying your task.
Oh yeah, it was pumping. And then first pick, like air went out and then built back up because they had been driving. And it was it was in the end zone. And then the second one happened. I just couldn't help but laugh. I was just dying laughing. And then just the hijinks and debauchery from
fighting fans
and who had too much Christmas cheer and it was the best.
Lauren, how was yours?
Oh, it was great. I was my nephew's secretary.
What?
For organizing all of his Christmas gifts, putting them all together and keeping him on a schedule of when he would play with each one so that he could play with every single thing on Christmas morning. So
wow.
I was hard at work.
How did you I have a lot of questions. How did you get selected for this?
I honestly don't know.
So someone just foisted this upon you. It's like, here, take care of this kid.
He specifically called me out. I think he knew that I am the organization behind the family. My sister was, in the kitchen. She was cooking for everyone. Unfortunately, my brother-in-law slept all day because he was sick. So lo and behold, my nephew was like, Aunt Lo, play with me. Wait, no, you put my toys together while I play. Okay.
Excuse me? How old is this young man?
He's 3 and he's a little bit spoiled, but there's a sister on the way come March.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
He runs the roost. So I'm curious to see how roles change in a couple of months.
Okay. Well, good. Yeah, I had a quiet Christmas. It was just me, wife, kid, and my mom, and I ate like an absolute slob. Enjoyed every
What was the
minute
sloppiest thing that you
I
ate?
don't know. I ate cookies. I ate candy. I ate tamales. I ate. And what I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do the triple Lindy off the wagon right here and enjoy my holidays. And I'm slowly working my way back onto it. So I should be okay. But it was time well spent. I hope everyone enjoyed their Christmas weekend and enjoyed the holidays.
Tommy.
We got New Year's coming up.
What's up?
What was the popcorn a hit? Did your
it was
grandma get it?
Great grandma.
Yes, great grandma. Thank you.
She got it. She called immediately the next day. Tears were involved. Happy tears, and everyone actually really enjoyed the popcorn balls. So apparently, I made them well enough, and she was impressed. And there's like in the recipe, there's like a tradition, a little line about tradition and how all the kids and grandkids and stuff have to make sure to butter their hands up so when they roll the balls, it doesn't get stuck and everything like that. So she double checked to make sure that I buttered my hands and all that. It went over really well. And I think I was able to properly keep a tradition going for Tiff and her family.
Yeah, we had a live cooking show with our patrons last Friday.
It was quite
great.
Quite
burn
exciting.
the crap out of my hands on that hot molasses.
Yeah.
But
well, before we get into it, let's thank our sponsor for today. And that is Airwave, the performance mouthpiece that has been scientifically proven through peer-reviewed published research to increase endurance and airflow, increase strength and muscular endurance, and improved faster recovery time. So what the Airwave mouthpiece does that sets it apart, it's a patented bottom fit design mouthpiece. So you mold it to your bottom teeth as opposed to a protective mouthpiece that goes on top. It's designed to help direct your tongue down and forward. And when you gently bite down, it creates an optimal airway opening. And here are the numbers to back up the efficacy of this device. Use of the mouthpiece in test subjects found an 8% increase in the diameter of the throat and a 9% increase in the width. There was also a 51% reduction in cortisol 1 hour after high-intensity exercise, which helps with recovery. And when used during a steady-state run, the Airwave mouthpiece resulted in a 28.5% reduction in respiratory rate compared to before the mouthpiece was put in. And the cool thing now is they have a bunch of different models that you can get. They have like a high endurance, high intensity one. They have an endurance one. They have a sleep one. They have like a strongman one. Go to airwave.com and check out all of these. And I know you're getting ready to do that 24-hour road challenge. And the Airwave is probably going to be the first thing that you're packing.
So I have my Airwave Endurance, which is actually great because it's a little bit more substantial, fits to the bottom, and I don't need to clench as much to be able to use the tongue placement. Honestly, I'm going to be rowing for eight-ish plus hours out of the 24 with my team of 3. So got my nutrition, got my Airwave, been doing some interval work, and my overall heart rate and respiratory rate during that has been much improved, as well as my recovery after too, from actually leveraging some of the clenching aspects for reducing cortisol. So it's been great.
I love it. I use mine all the time. Hockey, working out, running, whatever. Pop that.
And if you're new with it, don't just go head first into a crazy Metcon. Like start with it in the warm up, start with it with lifting.
Yep.
And then ease it into
That's good advice.
Tommy's crazy 24 hours of rowing.
How many people do you have going with you?
2 others. So
right.
Andrew, Diego, we're knocking it out. We're starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
All right.
So if you're listening to this 10 a.m. and it's after 10 a.m. Friday, I am rowing. And we'll be going to 10 a.m. Saturday. So we'll have one morning class, open gym, noon class, one afternoon class to kind of keep us occupied while we're doing it. And then there's 4 classes back to back Saturday morning that we'll finish off with the last one as a kind of way to keep us occupied. And we have some friends that are going to be coming in like that work that do shift work. So they'll be coming in late to get their workouts in to kind of support us and keep us company. So
awesome.
Nice.
Well, listen, if you want to get on board the Airwave train, airwave.com, AIRWAAV.com. Use the code TEF15. If you're watching this, go ahead and scan the QR code. Takes you right to the website. TEF15. That's the code you want to use to save 15%. Okay, let's get into what we want to do today, and that is our year-end awards show. We've got some good ones here. We haven't decided who's going to win these. So this debate will ensue live on this program. And we'll jump into it. I wish I had some cool like awards theme music going here, but I don't. So you'll have to just imagine that. We're going to start with the best event/test, and that's the Golden Boz.
Yep.
So you're going to get the Golden Boz if you had the best event or test. Now, the one that keeps coming to mind for me, and I have multiple reasons for this.
Is across the entire calendar year.
Across the entire calendar year. It can be from a semifinal, it can be from quarterfinals. I mean, hard to argue against V-ups, Tommy. I'm just kidding.
Oh, gosh.
I definitely side-eyed you on that one.
You got me on that one.
The one for me, I'm going to go, and I can be talked out of this, but it's the one that popped in my head first. Helena from the CrossFit.
Oh, Sean, you're in my brain.
Really? And because there was one, I think because it was so unexpected, I thought the coverage that we had with the drone kind of flying in and out of the building was awesome. I think it provided us with some great races, some fun moments. And it really is the one that, as I look back on the 2023 games, it's the one that just stands out the most to me.
It's crazy. I think we might be unanimous. That was my pick. That's what I wrote down.
Okay.
Helena,
me too.
When I think about what is the best test, I think there's some core aspects of methodology that need to come in play, like in terms of like elegance and simplicity in its design, but very, very potent in its application. And then also at the games or any competition really, there has to almost you call it a wow factor, I guess, in terms of either how it's presented, what the athletes do on the floor, and the race that it creates and the drama that it creates. I have had very few wow factors in recent years from visual outside of the Capitol, definitely being one.
Oh, for sure.
And then the drone action from Helena coming in, the way that it looked, and that being during the window, and all of us talking about how this was a weapons grade CrossFit for a very classic CrossFit workout in terms of Helena. Like we had this test applied across the board, so I think there was ties to the methodology. There was a cool wow factor from the games. I think the presentation was great, and I thought the races were awesome, and people put forth some really impressive times. And we even had some moments that I think, in terms of grit and determination and people kind of fighting through some stuff. Ellie Turner comes to mind as well. And then kind of some of the jostling that we ended up having on the runs, including like, Adler kind of like goading on Roman a little bit and kind of having that competitive edge. I think that was great. For me, that was my favorite test experience of the year.
Yeah.
And I think it was Yella Hosta and Pat Vellner who were having a tight race in the run, and being able to see that with the drone action as it came back into the Coliseum, I think was really special. But it's funny, I also picked that as my top event, but just seeing the evolution of CrossFit, taking a really classic benchmark workout like that and making it adequate for the games and the fitness level of these athletes, I think was really cool, especially because this was also one that affiliates or people who maybe want to test and see how comparable their times are with these top level athletes, you could pretty easily implement this to your affiliate. And I think that gives us some perspective of how fit these athletes are. But I will add my second runner up for a workout would be the semifinals test 2, the ring complex with the burpee box jump overs, the races that we saw with that, and just visually the way that athletes moved their chest pieces forward and how costly a no rep on a burpee box jump over on the rings cost. Some of those races I think was really visually appealing as a spectator.
Yeah, it was Emma Lawson and Emma Carey, right, who had that great race in that.
Yeah, and then Ariel Lonan and Alex Gazan the following weekend as well. That was fantastic races. And that was the other one that I was considering too. Funny enough, I think we're on the same brainwave right now. But I think there's also something to be said, and this kind of, sorry to circle back on Helena. There are certain elements of benchmarks where these natural thresholds are created, where almost like the 4-minute mile, that help give us that carrot to chase, whatever it may be. And I think we got a little bit of that with Jamie Simmons going sub 8:30, and then Adler going sub 8 as the only athlete, and seeing a bunch of other athletes get really close and butt up next to it, and then one person just comes by and kicks the door down. That's an aspect of the benchmark kind of lore that is really appealing to me. I remember back in the day when OPT, that video of him at the OG CrossFit gym trying to be the first person, I believe, go sub 7 on Helen, and everybody, Tony Budding's out there with his like easy rig, and everybody's like getting behind it, and it was like this big thing that you almost kind of like sent shockwaves through the CrossFit world, quote unquote, at the time, which was very small. But that's something to me that also elevates the experience, that kind of supports it. But yeah, I do agree on the semifinals test too. I actually really enjoyed the duel again this year. I enjoyed it more than other versions.
Well, and what was funny about that is there was supposed to be a rope climb in there.
Oh, and
they got rid of it because of the weather. And I think it actually turned out better.
Yeah, I thought this was a better version of the duel, just because I thought the sandbag loading with the implement and had the teeter totter was cool. Obviously, there's some great tests in Wadapalooza as well, but I was just kind of thinking around the year, and still Helena just kind of takes the cake for me.
Just one final thought on Helena. I think we all agree that that's going to be our recipient of the Golden Boz. So congratulations to Boz. You got a golden statue.
And Castro too.
And Castro for sure. Yeah, no, and is that, you mentioned the drones, and we've mentioned that. That event, I think, is going to, and it already has, shown people how you can cover this sport with drones and make it look good, because that is not something that we used to do. Drones were for establishing shots and beauty shots and file footage. Like, we haven't used it for live coverage. And Rogue actually implemented that in their coverage of the Invitational. And this is something that I think you're going to see more of when it comes to covering CrossFit, is the use of drones. And it's going to be, and I think you're going to trace it back to Helena. It's like you can trace the origins of the Spider Cam back to the XFL.
Yeah.
And that has had a huge impact on just live sports in general. Like, who knew that camera would be the lasting sort of legacy of the first iteration of the XFL, that and the He Hate Me jersey. Like, that's all people remember about that league from 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I mean, the usage of drones on a broader scale is still very new in like the realm of things, and you're starting to see more and more of it with live competition, even from like the Ranch Trail Run and Aromas in 2020 when they were using the drone there too. But it was almost necessary because of how remote it was.
Exactly. But we've never applied that to an event that
right.
No, we just have hard cameras, and we have the guys on the field. Why would we need drones? And now it's like, we can actually add something really cool to this. And you saw that, I think, last year in some of the outdoor events. Anyway, event of the year. Congratulations, Helena, from the 2023 CrossFit Games. Popping that graphic up on the screen. All right, next, let's move into our best competition weekend outside of the games, right? We're excluding the games from this because that's such a big deal. But we're calling this the Castro Cup, harkening back to the Aromas days when it was just a barbecue at a dusty ranch in Aromas, California. A couple hundred people descended on a piece of property here in Northern California to have a little fitness throwdown, and look at what it's grown into. So the Castro Cup here, best competition weekend. I threw out my first nominee last time, so Tommy, we'll start with you.
Mine for this year is Wadapalooza, because one of the key aspects of it for me is being able to shift and adjust and evolve with the times. And I think last year, them implementing the 2-day individual comp, 2-day team competition, that allowed a lot of the elite athletes to not have to choose one or the other, and possibly choose both, and reduce the total impact of the weekend on some of those athletes if you only did one or the other, I thought was a really good idea. And from just a general coverage standpoint and the flow of the weekend, it seemed to make a lot of sense. And I personally really enjoyed it. 2 days of competition for individuals. You're done. Put that one in the bag. Then 2 days of team competition with some really fun teams of 3, which has been Wadapalooza's calling card. You get to see some really fun combinations. I thought it amplified the teams of 3 competition even more, because you got people like Vellner and Fikowski double dipping and then going and winning with PB&J, and seeing some cool performances in line with that. And I thought, to me, that made it my favorite competition weekend, at least in terms of like how it compared to previous iterations.
Lauren.
For me, and kind of similar to reasons that Tommy was just speaking of, like looking at the evolution of the sport, the longevity of these athletes. And for those reasons, I would say Fit Fest had to be my favorite competition weekend.
That's a good one.
Because when you think of long-term sustainability for athletes, partnership opportunities, exposure to a whole new audience, this was the first time people who live in Europe, a lot of them were able to see some of the top athletes, specifically the American athletes, compete over in their region. And I think that this is a really good test of concept that other competitions can learn from to get high level athletes to compete in person more often. I know we've talked about single day competitions. Now we see that they can have these super teams and make it, there's no prize money on the line. So the athletes are able to have more fun. They're able to do more activations and get involved with the spectators that come out with the event. So Fit Fest would be my best competition weekend.
That's a good one.
I'd like that one.
That is a late contender.
I like that one a lot. That's
coming to the party.
I think I'm going to have to go with that one. I'm going to have to break the tie and go with Fit Fest. I was actually going to be like, yeah, it's Wadapalooza. They did a fantastic job, but I think for the reasons that Lauren stated about how this is something that can be taken and duplicated, and we even talked about that, after it happened. If CrossFit is looking for something to do that is akin to the Invitational, yet they want to take it to the next level and further evolve that, I thought the Fit Fest format was really cool.
Yeah, I might.
You
may have just swayed me.
There you go.
I my vote's still for Wadapalooza, but I can get behind that in terms of that innovation because, it seems like Lauren, you were there. It seemed like everyone that I've talked to that come out of that really enjoyed it. I think it's something that you're going to only see more of. So, and we didn't mention this at the time, but Team Brandon throwing on the Premier League soccer kits.
Oh, that was amazing.
Was
well done.
Fantastic.
Know your audience.
I mean, that just
it's like when Castro, I think at 15.1 in Boston, came out in a Tom Brady jersey as a Dolphins fan. I'm like,
oh, that's amazing.
You know your audience, but that's division rival, bro.
Yeah. That guy has caused your team fits for a decade plus. But
actually, the Dolphins used to do pretty well against Brady and the Patriots
for a little while. Yeah, they were kind of the spoiler at the end of the season.
They were. Okay, best competition weekend, the Castro Cup. Congratulations, goes to Fit Fest.
Fit Fest UK.
Yay. Well done, everybody. Okay. Moving on.
By the way, I got to figure out the date, but the Marquez parents are going to be on The Price is Right.
Shut up.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry to totally derail this.
That is fantastic.
But
that's a great derailing.
Oh, yes.
My dad has loved that show since before it was The Price is Right, when it was Truth or Consequences.
Oh, wow.
Because he thought because there's a town in New Mexico called Truth or Consequences, and he thought that it was related to that when he was a young lad. But so my mom got tickets.
That is fantastic. Your mom with the tickets, man.
I know, she kills it.
Is that a ticket that was a Christmas present?
Yeah, it was a Christmas present.
That's awesome. Oh, I hope that I'm
taking ideas for shirts.
That is
shirts. We got to design shirts.
TV. Okay, that brings us to we're going to give two here, and that's Rookie of the Year for men and women. This is the Three Bridges Trophy, and the reason we're calling it the Three Bridges Trophy is because Josh Bridges, his rookie year at the games,
in 2011.
Won 3 events.
Won 3 events, finished on the podium. At the time, it was the high in the open era. It was the first year of the open era, and he kicked it off with a second place finish behind Rich Froning and did it by winning the opening event at the beach. He won the triplet sprint, and I believe he also won the dog sled as well. So the Three Bridges Award for Rookie of the Year.
Okay, so let's start.
Do we want to do just one for both?
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
It makes it more prestigious.
Yeah.
Okay. I just have to edit the graphic I just put up on the All right. Rookie of the Year. Okay. We're just going to do one. I like it.
Oh.
This is tough. It's a tough one. And I mean, usually.
I don't find it difficult.
You don't. Okay. Then you can start because you haven't started yet.
Yellow Hosta, hands down, finishes 10th at the CrossFit Games, finishes 11th at Rogue, also competes at Fit Fest. I don't know if he's competing at Wadapalooza. My gut would say no, but seeing him, and he had event wins at semifinals. He is an athlete that I think people should be scared of because he can have some of those home run hits, and the other workouts for him are just very consistent. He also is a very nice person, and I am going to add that to his category.
That definitely counts. That definitely counts.
Being kind helps.
Being kind in this day and age, 100%.
I'm going to agree with that because he didn't win Rookie of the Year at the games, right?
No,
they gave it to Olivia Kerstetter, and so
yes.
And the year prior, they did a male and female rookie, and then they dropped it down to 1, and then they gave it to Olivia over Yella, despite Yella finishing 10th and Olivia finishing, 16th? both impressive, obviously, but I think Yella deserves it for sure.
As a okay, let me just make a quick case for Olivia Kersetter. As a 17-year-old finishing 16th, you don't think that's
I don't understand why they're having
this
Rookie of the Year is only one gender. I think that there should be
we're
a
doing
Rookie
that.
of the Year for male and female.
Well, should we do
well,
that?
Let's change the game.
I think it should just be one again, and then now
I agree with you. I think there should be one Rookie of the Year.
I've referenced this before, this movie reference, but this is the tap dancing scene from Young Frankenstein, right? How quickly we become jaded. The reason why it's less of we've seen the 17-year-old do it multiple times. We've seen Mal O'Brien and Emma Lawson go through this iteration. So it's almost like it doesn't hit the same way, and that's not taking anything away from Olivia. But I think we also all saw this coming based on how well Olivia has performed.
She also had an event win at the games. Yella didn't. Right? The one where it ended with the barbell.
She won the final event.
Final. That's what it was. Thank you. Yep. So I think that has weight. I don't know. To me,
Yella won an event. He won the 5K.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Thank you. I don't know. Like the women's field to the men's field, it's apples and oranges. You can't compare them. Like to me, I think that there's a deserving Rookie of the Year for each. But
for time, and I think I think Yella deserved it. He's the highest finishing rookie. He won an event. You kind of saw it coming with his performance at semifinals and some of the performances he did there. He backed it up at Rogue. I think.
Okay.
It's funny enough. He's really only been competing for 5 seasons. Like he signed up in 2017, but like really like started to take it a little bit more seriously in 2018, and he's only been competing for a couple years more than Olivia has at 17, just because she's been doing it since she's been. And you could argue that she's been actually doing it longer than he has.
Okay,
which is crazy to think.
Yella Hossa, Rookie of the Year.
Are you voting for him too, Sean?
Yeah, you convinced me. And I think, because Olivia, not that she didn't come out of nowhere, but to Tommy's point, she's been around a while. Like we've had our eyes on her, and she's been impressive in other competition.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the name Yella Hosta was on anybody's radar when the Open rolled around in 2023. Like that,
at least
could have come up
and
slapped me in the face. I would have known who he was.
Mm-hmm.
He showed up in semifinals when he had that performance that he had, and the European Brent Fikowski really.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you, Lauren. I think he's someone that people should be afraid of moving forward. I think that he is not. That's a high ceiling.
He's part of the No Shortcuts crew too, and I think he has also been, that you look at programs and camps, so to speak, and how they start to cut their teeth and make and carve a path for themselves. And I think a lot of people want to see can you develop a team? Can you develop individuals? And he was kind of the flag bearer for them on the individual side this year, and I think that was incredibly impressive from them. And when we were like, oh, this No Shortcuts team is legit as an affiliate cup team. And then you were like, oh, Yella, when we interviewed him, he was like, oh, he's part of the Huday's crew. Like something's brewing.
Having Andre Houdet now sort of making the transition from a great athlete, but also really
incredible coach.
Well. Yeah.
Watching him interact with the athletes at Fit Fest too, and really dialing in how to be proficient at the worm. And you just talk to him and everybody's attention is on Andre.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he has this presence that when he is speaking, he can really command a room. And I think that having that kind of buy-in from athletes is really cool to watch.
Okay. Yella Hosta, the Jelly Toast Man.
Jelly Toast.
Jelly Toast Man.
French toast.
No, powdered toast.
Powdered toast man, yeah.
Powdered toast man. I bet Lauren doesn't even know what that is.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Of course you don't know.
But I'll laugh.
Lauren would not have been allowed to watch Ren and Stimpy back in the
probably
day.
not.
I couldn't even watch Rugrats or Doug. I had to sneak to my neighbor's house to watch that.
Wow.
My wife was the same way. That she couldn't watch Rugrats because
there's potty talk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Strict household.
Yeah. This is okay. Our next one. This is the BKG Sneaky Performance of the Year Award.
I like this.
Yes. I guess we're back to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning of the year. I'm going to go with Paige Powers at Wadapalooza.
Oh.
Because that, again, if I remember correctly, going into that event, that was not a name that we talked about as someone who had a chance to win it. Maybe in the mix to do well in the top 10. But I don't know anybody who picked her to finish on the podium and to win.
Mm-hmm.
And that performance springboarded her into, I think, the best season she's had as an individual.
Yeah, she finished 10th at the games. So she cracked the top 10, and that was the canary in the coal mine for a significant improvement for her. That's I have two.
Okay.
And they're based off of my expectations for what they did. And I also think part of it is BKG, you're like, we should expect this from him more often. But you're like, well, clearly they did well. Why didn't I see this? And you're like, well, nothing really that much stood out. You're just there at the end of it. And you're like, oh yeah, of course. And I'm gonna throw a couple names out for you. Because I feel like we were maybe expecting, but not as much. Dallin Pepper in 5th. He's not been talked about that much. In terms of the overall top 10, I think he has gotten the least amount of like, whoa, Dallin's here kind of thing, just because you're like, oh yeah, Dallin is good. How well did he did? And most people are probably like, oh, like 8th or 10th or 11th. No, he was actually 5th. He was right there.
Okay.
Bailey Martin in 12th. Him and Jay Crouch were both in the top 10 the entire weekend. And Bailey Martin as a rookie being 12th. And my other one was Emma Tall in 11th.
Those are all good. Okay.
And the one thing that hurts Emma Tall is that I believe she won an event. She won she won the Alpaca Redux. But other than that, you were like, she missed the games prior because she pulled out due to illness. She wasn't someone that you would have penned for a top 10 contender.
Okay.
And then she comes out and finishes 11th right there.
All right.
And she's European, which fits in line with the BKG. With the BKG.
League of Shadows. Yeah.
League of Shadows, yeah.
Lauren, what do you think?
Mine is going to be Kelly Baker.
Oh.
And let's go back to semifinals where nobody knew who had that last spot on the women's field for North America West. And everybody is waiting. Her and Bailey Rail tied in points for that last ticket in. She beat out Games athletes Danny Spiegel, Lauren Fisher, Chloe Wilson was right on the cusp. Gets her first ticket as a CrossFit Games individual athlete. And then if that storyline wasn't cool enough and the emotion and all of those things that come at the CrossFit Games, when they made the cuts, she technically was cut before the final day, but because Jamie Simmons pulled out due to injury, she got the last spot heading into the final day. She had already had beer and pizza and a burger or something, and then realized, oh, I still get to compete the next day. So to me, like, that is 2 surprises in one season.
2.
That's really good.
That's another really good one, man. That is true. That is the the line from Clerks. I wasn't even supposed to be here today.
Yeah.
Man, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Because that was like, we might have to like, and please excuse the comparison, but I hope you get where I'm going here. It's like the golden cockroach. Like, you just couldn't kill her.
Yeah.
Like, she kept coming back.
Yeah. It's like the nuclear fallout, and then, lifts a lid, opens up, and she just comes.
Yep. Hey, I'm here.
Right
Still competing.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Man, that's a really good one.
That interview at the games when they talked about it too. I think it was.
I get chills.
Yeah.
Talk about a sneaky performance.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren.
I came to play today, boys.
You did. That's good. That's one that you may have swayed me on that.
And she almost made the next cut, right?
Yeah.
She finished 21st. She was 21st. Right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I'm I'm kind of leaning that way.
Yeah, me too.
It's a really good one.
That interview about talking about the burger and the beer was great.
It's fantastic.
I love that.
All right.
Damn it.
I'm jumping on.
Yeah, so am I.
I really like my Paige Powers one. I thought that was going to be a surprise because it was so long ago almost.
And the best part is she had her 2 best event finishes after she would have theoretically been cut.
Yeah. All right. Kelly Baker, congratulations.
Dun, da, da, da.
Wow, nice
That
job,
was great.
Lauren. Yeah, Kelly Baker. The BKG Sneaky Performance of the Year. Well done, Kelly. Well done. Well done.
I wasn't even supposed to be
Yeah, I know,
here.
right? I was supposed to be here today. Such a great movie. I know you've probably never seen that either, have you, Lauren? Clerks?
What one?
Clerks.
I've never even heard of it.
Oh, come on. Jay and Silent Bob.
I hope somebody's playing the drinking game right now.
Yeah, that's a couple finish your drinks.
Yeah,
Noise,
yeah.
noise. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Noise. Smoking weed. Come on. All right.
No idea.
All right. BKG Sneaky Performance of the Year goes to Kelly Baker.
Hey,
Well done, Lauren. You should be like in the Hall of Fame voting committee
thank
for the
you.
NFL and go make, because you could definitely get somebody in with that sales job. All right. Next, the story of the year. This is the Budding Award, named after our good friend Tony Budding, who was once in charge of the media department here.
He was CrossFit's first media director.
Media director.
He was the media director from the early days all the way up and through 2014. He is, I guess you could say, largely responsible for the creation of the broader media team and getting the whole wheels churning on CrossFit media as a whole.
Yep.
He's the
Treated
reason
me
why
very well.
The media team was based in Santa Cruz, had the office that they had, and he was one of the guys running around with cameras early in the days at the original gym. So
yes. So the Tony Budding Award for Story of the Year. So Tom, we're going to start with you.
Oof. That's tough.
You want me to? I can throw a couple out.
Throw a couple out.
So I think
I'm trying to distill it to just one because I threw out
I think they're kind of. I think these two actually might be. So it might be intertwined. I think to me, it's the games moving. It's either the games moving to Fort Worth, and then also I think the spinning off of the adaptive and age group championships. And if I had to pick between one of those two, I'd probably pick the spinning off of the age group and adaptive championships, just because of the broader impact that this could have on the whole ecosystem.
Yeah. Huh.
Those are the two that popped into my head. I mean, I think you could also go you could also go the whole, the Roman Adler thing, because that was brand new. We never really had anything like that.
Yeah. That's tough. I think the Adler thing in general, with the story of, I think Adler in general is a great one, just because him and his fiance Carolyn Lambre were volunteers at the games back in the day, and they went from
that's a good
volunteer to affiliate owner to coach to, like, obviously like a coach and significant other partner, and rising through the ranks together. Carolyn just, and I think if we're still counting everything that happens this year, Carolyn just got her CrossFit level 4. And so I think that is a beautiful narrative front to back, from just what the methodology does for you and inspires you, and ultimately leads to great things for not just one of them, but both of them as a unit. I think that's a pretty awesome story.
I like that.
Because you talk about Jeff as an athlete, he didn't necessarily have any one particular background. He wasn't like a high level athlete in any given sport. He was like, he liked to play pond hockey, he'd do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, did some weight, like
Jack of all
bodybuilding,
trades, master of none.
Yeah. Didn't really take to any one sport. If you mentioned like athletic background, it played sports obviously, and then, really kind of found his groove later in life with this. All right. I kind of like that a lot.
Okay, let's let Lauren tell us what it's actually going to be.
So I would say that the splitting of the divisions to have their own CrossFit games has to be story of the year because it affects the entire ecosystem in one way or another. But I would say that another story that I think should be highlighted is having 2 female coaches on the podium with their athletes for the first time at the games.
Oh, yeah.
Because we had Jeff Adler, Pat Vellner, both of their coaches, Michelle and Carolyn. And you could make an argument that there were technically 3 because Ariel Lowen looks like she programs for herself. So 3 female coaches on the podium, which I just think is a cool notation more than anything. And like, you don't see that in other professional sports. It's so rare. And to now be like, start to see that in our sport, I think is a really cool thing for, female coaches in general.
I think there are a couple other considerations. I ultimately think I know where we're heading, obviously, but I think the like Ariel's performance in general at the games, I thought is a major story, and something that we saw, kind of throughout the season. I think the culmination being the finale at Rogue, but I think the Laura Tia battle and Vellner kind of getting the monkey off of his back in Ghosts of last year in that last event was a good storyline in terms of like Tia coming back. Laura just won. What's going to happen? Laura wins. Pat, no one really picked him, I think, to win Rogue. And then he comes back and was like, hey, I was a couple reps shy last year. Almost lost it this year again, but I'm going to actually like shut the door. I thought those are good storylines too. I think obviously the move, but I think the move and the splitting are intertwined with
I
each
agree
other.
with that. And I think that all those, I love all those other stories. I do. Like they're fantastic to see 2 female coaches with athletes on the podium. Awesome. What happened with, Carolyn and Jeff is to dive into that and tell that story, I think would be really compelling too. But I think when you look at what's going to have the biggest impact on the sport moving forward, to me, it's the spinning off of the championships because of what it not only does for those championships and the spotlight that you can put on them, but also what it now allows you to do with the individuals and teams in Fort Worth, and how you can really now focus on the tip of the spear there and making that as best as you possibly can for an ESPN broadcast.
Yeah.
So that's
the most impact for the sport.
Exactly.
Is because of those
not
decisions.
to take anything right, and not to take anything away from the achievements of the people involved in those other ones.
All great stories.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Splitting of the championships.
Yep. Story of the year.
Congratulations.
New location, new format.
New location, new format. Splitting of the championships. Story of the year. The winner of the Tony Budding Award. Well done. Well done. Splitting of the championships. We're giving an award to a concept. Okay.
I love it.
All right. We're getting into it. Now this is a comeback athlete of the year. This is the Bronze Briggs. And the reason we're calling it the Bronze Briggs is because Sam Briggs is obviously the icon of the sport. But you think about the comebacks that she's had in her career, from injury, competing on a broken foot, not being able to get a visa, and then showing up all of a sudden at the games and finishing in the top 5. Sam Briggs is the ultimate survivor.
Yep.
When it comes to CrossFit. So this is the
taking her lumps and keeps comeback swinging.
And I think we're going to start with Lauren. Who do you think?
My comeback athlete of the year has to be Emma Carey.
Oh,
coming back from a back injury, was on the podium at Wadapalooza. What did she finish this past year? Was she 3rd? Efforting information.
Oh, for Wadapalooza?
For Wadapalooza at the very beginning of the calendar year.
That was her first
appearance after her injury.
Yeah, she was 3rd.
She was 3rd. So I think that was a really cool look into what we could expect from her for the season. And especially with something like a back injury, sometimes that can cost an athlete a career. And for her to come back, still be able to finish in top 10, now making new moves with a new, she's training with Mayhem now, so left brute. I think it tees her up very well for the 2024 year. And I guess she's my comeback athlete for the year, but with the idea that I can't wait to see what happens in this next year for her.
Okay.
It's a great choice.
It is. I'm efforting some information here. Because I'm going to make, okay. All right. I like that one. I think you could make a case for Tia Toomey.
I think,
although the expectations were so high with her, it's not like we didn't expect that. I want to I'm going to throw a name out here because I like Lauren's. I'm just going to throw another one for consideration. Brent Fikowski. Brent Fikowski, 16th of the games in 2022, finishes 4th in 2023. Then follows that up with another 4th place performance at the Rogue Invitational. I think it's the first time he's ever competed there. I can't remember what he did at Wadapalooza, but I think he just competed on a team there.
He was
he competed both. He did both. That's right.
Yeah.
And I think he's a guy that, given his age and the amount of time that he spent in the sport, maybe the assumption was that his best days were behind him. He retools his training. He goes back to the drawing board, redesigns just about everything. And 4th place. I know people always thought that he had top 10 potential, but almost making the podium. And same story.
Was really close at Rogue.
Was super close.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw that one out there.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna let that marinate. Yeah.
Just marinate. Let that marinate in some maple syrup.
What if we go what if we go more narrow and just go event to event and Roman competing with a broken foot?
That's strong.
That
because
is
he
strong.
Breaks his foot. You think he's done.
Okay.
Trots back out there. What's the end result? Still ends up on the podium.
Ooh, yeah.
Comes back at Rogue after not training. Comes back firing at Rogue.
This might be the hardest
third.
one.
Ties with Brent Fikowski technically in points.
That's a good one.
He wins Spirit of the Games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Roman's a powerful comeback story.
That is a really
because that is a true comeback.
Like it's tough, and it's unfortunate for Emma because Roman's comeback is so distilled into a singular, like, visceral point in our minds, right? Because everyone's like waiting to see what's happened. And it's like seeing him do one-footed double unders. It's just burned in my brain.
Yeah.
Wow. That reminds me, I forgot to add moment of the year to our list.
Oh, we could. Okay, so maybe we put a pin in that.
That's what I'm saying. Because, spoiler alert, that's the one. Like, moment of the year is absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay,
so clap it up for Roman.
Clap it up for Roman. Moment of the year. Moment of the year for the broken foot. Like, that's, and we'll give that as due later on. But comeback athlete of the year. I mean, we haven't. We're not used to giving out 2 awards to the same person in one show. But you're convincing me that we could possibly give that to Roman.
Well, I'm gonna withdraw my submission because I know we just gave him moment of the year because that is deserving of moment of the year.
Yeah, sure. I mean, in that one,
is he a back-to-back moment of the year guy because of the kid on the podium? His kid on the podium.
I can't remember what we gave it to last year. I don't even know if we did it last year. We have to start tracking these. Man,
Brent and Emma are both great.
Emma's solid.
Yeah, Emma's solid.
Emma's really good. And I'm kind of, Brent didn't come back from any kind of injury. He was just, just didn't have the best
longevity of his athletic ability.
I'm leaning.
It was his second worst finish of his career at the games in 2022, 16th. He's only had 2 others that have been outside the top 4.
I'm leaning Emma just because we have never seen her perform like this at the games.
True.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of expectations as a youngin.
All right.
Had to take a step back. Had to take a significant step back. And then, to me, a back injury is significant. Oh, we interviewed her at Wadapalooza, and there was still hesitation.
And I got a chance to really go through a lot of that footage for some of the post-production work we're doing for them, and to hear some of the things that she said, and you could see sort of the light turning on in real time as she was going through some of those tests / events about understanding, like, oh, I can do this. I can attack a workout this way. And and what that did to her moving forward. Okay. Emma Carey.
And she goes, and just to kind of add a little extra seasoning on top, 3rd at Wadapalooza, 8th at the games, 6th at Rogue.
Mm-hmm.
Rogue in particular, very heavy.
I forgot about Rogue.
A lot of pulling from the ground.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Emma Carey, congratulations.
Clap it up for Emma.
Yep.
Hey.
It was the Bronze Briggs. You're the
Bronze Briggs.
in the mail, Emma. We'll get it to you. Well done. Okay. Next, do we want to do moment of the year since we're just gonna?
It's Roman.
Oh,
Yeah,
Roman.
I mean, it's
I don't think we even need to dive into that. Yeah.
That is, and just again, I think that was in the ESPN window, right?
It was.
To have that's another thing with Helena, where it all comes together. To have that moment in that window to an audience that may have never seen anything like this before. I don't care if you were a fan of CrossFit or not. You see that going on.
If I saw that in any
you're
sport,
gonna watch. I
Yeah.
can't remember who the track athlete, and I don't think I was in the Olympics or something where his father came out of the stands. Like,
Oh
and,
my gosh.
and helped
yeah.
him helped him finish the race. That kind of stuff. I don't watch track and field, but I will watch that every time I come across it because it is so powerfully emotional. And this,
I will watch a good storyline.
That's
it's the
exactly.
It's the Jamaican bobsled team after the crash.
Oh yeah.
It's Dan Jansen in the 92 Winter Olympics.
Yep.
The speed skater who I think it was 88 when he went to Calgary, and his sister had he had this terrible story where his sister had passed away and he dedicated his Olympics to her. And he crashes in 88 and he doesn't win the medal. And then he comes back in 92 and does it like that. It's those kind of stories that are fantastic. And, Roman that one was, and I remember the Scott Panchik thing getting me a little teary eyed in 2022. And then we show up in 2023. I'm like, all right, well, at least I'm not going to sob on air. And while that was going on, I looked over at Chase and he was totally had lost it. I'm like, I can't talk now. And it's like, I thought I was going to get through a broadcast of the games without having to get emotional. But it was, by far moment of the year, Roman Krennikov. Yep. Congratulations. Big golf clap. All right, let's go now to, I think we have 2 left. We got 2 left. We have our athletes of the year for men and women. I mean, we will separate this. All right, athlete of the year, men and women. Now, this one, I think it's more clear cut on the women's side than it is on the men's side. So we want to start there.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, I'm curious what you think for women.
So I think it's Laura Horvath, hands down.
Yeah, for sure.
She wins the games. She wins Rogue, and does it by having to go head to head with Tia in the final event and beat her. And I don't care. I understand that Tia's coming off the pregnancy and not 100%, but still.
Her team wins Wadapalooza.
Yeah, that staring that moment down and being able to overcome it, she deserves a ton of credit. I don't know how I don't know who else would be in contention for that from the women. So clear-cut winner for me, Laura Horvath, hands down, athlete of the year.
I agree.
Laura has my vote. I think Emma Lawson is in a second stage of conversation.
Okay. Proceed. I want to hear. I want to know why.
Teen athlete breaking into the individual division, has 2 podium finishes back to back at the games and at Rogue. And I just have high hopes for Emma. I think that she is going to be, I've talked about it before on our podcast. I think that she is going to be somebody who is consistently in the conversation for the podium. It's now just up to, where is Tia and Laura going to fall in this next upcoming year. But I think that Emma is a very good case to stay in the mix.
Okay. I think she can be a nominee, but again, I'm still you pull off.
But yeah, I think Laura 100%. Laura gets the award.
And there was after 2020, there were people that wrote off Laura completely. She'll never be on the podium again. She won't be an elite athlete. She can't do this. She can't do that. How could you have? And we have talked about it at length about the continued, elephant in the room of like the strict deficit handstand push-ups and stuff like that. And all she has done has continued to block out the noise, continued to improve, maybe not monumentally, maybe not eliminating the hole completely, but slowly chipping away and continuing to craft her game in a way where if outside of that, she is hammering pretty much anything she can put in front of her.
It's interesting because for the amount of like press and written articles I've seen about her lack of ability for handstand push-ups, I have not seen even close to the amount to talk about the things you two are talking about and the comeback from 2020 up until now.
In 2019, you know, she withdrew from Dubai, the first event that we saw her post games.
I've always felt that people who either say who made the argument that she's not going to be on the podium again, and people who made the argument that maybe she will be, said the same thing but in reverse order.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
It's just like the people that would argue that she's not going to be able to do it again would say, yes, she can do X, Y, and Z, but she can't do this, and that's going to kill her. And the people who were making the case for her were saying, yeah, she can't do that, but look at everything else that she can do.
Yeah.
No, they just reverse the order.
And which one you put heavier weight on. And clearly after the last few years, the people who believed in her were right. And she deserves all the credit for that. Yeah. And I also think just in general, she's not someone that that is super available to media and press. And I think
also
that's
a good point.
And that's by design. So that's gonna maybe put a particular lens on the discussion around her as a result. But I don't think she cares. I think what matters is her where she stands.
Talk to my gold medals.
Yes, you know? and you know, her being around people she cares about.
Yeah, congratulations, Laura Horvath, the athlete of the year. Yay!
Yeah, Laura.
And there was much rejoicing. All right, now that brings us to I think the more difficult one, and that is athlete of the year for the men. Now, obviously, Jeffrey Adler has got to be in the conversation. I think Pat Vellner needs to be in the conversation as well.
I do too.
I think it's between those two. And it's sort of like what we just said. Which do you put more weight on? Winning the games or winning Rogue? Now, obviously, the games is the bigger competition. But both of them finished on the podium in those two events. Pat had to scramble there at the end again at Rogue to do it. Adler finished second. Adler was extremely impressive. And look, you could even make a case going back to comeback athlete. You could make a case for Jeffrey Adler. Because remember going into that weekend at the games, it wasn't if Roman was going to win, it was by how much. I mean, he had built a huge lead.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Jeffrey starts chipping away at it. And then at the end of Saturday, he's in contention. And it was an impressive performance from Adler when everyone else was sort of already crowning Roman. And again, we didn't know, obviously no one knew what was going to happen with the injury.
It's crazy. And just to kind of bolster your point here, it's crazy to me the people online that were like, oh, Jeff only won because Roman got hurt.
I don't think that's true.
If Roman didn't get hurt, he would have won easily. I don't think that's true
think
either.
It is either.
Jeff would have gone into the parallel bar pull. And I'm not saying it would have gone either direction. But to say that it was definitively Roman, I think is equally errant because
agreed.
Going into the parallel bar pull, Adler was going to be in the lead, and he had beaten Roman head to head in the last 6 events. 6 events.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, this is sport. Talking about what if, like, part of sport is the ability to not get injured at an event and who can withstand and recovery and all of these other things. So the what if scenarios, to me, that's just white noise.
Yeah.
So who are you leaning towards on this? First of all, Lauren, would you agree that it is between Vellner and Adler?
I would agree. I still think Jeffrey Adler.
Okay. I mean,
I think this is the strongest case we have had for someone that isn't the fittest on earth.
I agree with that. And that was going to be my next question: is it automatically you win the games, athlete of the year?
No,
and I don't.
But you look at the point spread at the games between Jeff and Pat, and it was, I can't do math, but 953.
I can't math. I have the
116
difference. Where then you go to Rogue and it was a 20-point difference. So to me, it's still Jeff.
That's a compelling case.
And they were both on the same team together at Wadapalooza.
Yes. Almost put that entire team on the podium at the games.
Mm-hmm.
PB&J.
Yeah, Canadian PB&J, man. I kind of have to, I sort of have to lean. I love both these guys. They're just fantastic human beings. And I sort of just have to lean towards Jeff, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
I would
particularly because of that, the career arc that we talked about with him and Carolyn as well.
Okay. Yeah. Athlete of the year, Jeffrey Adler.
And I'm glad we can have this discussion and not just automatically be the winner of the game.
I agree. And because I still think you can make a compelling case for Patrick Vellner. And I cannot think of someone that people want to see win the games more than Patrick Vellner. And the only comparison I can make is 2015 with Ben Smith. And I don't even know if it's as much with Vellner as it was, or I'm sorry, as much with Smith as it is with Vellner now.
Yeah. I mean, it's Fikowski won Dubai 2019 going into the 2020 season, but Pat finished second. But outside of that, Pat's pretty much, outside of winning Dubai, Pat's pretty much accomplished everything that you can in the sport.
Yeah.
He has won Wadapalooza. He has won Rogue.
Multiple times.
He's won the team competition at Wadapalooza. He's hit podium, second place and third place at the games. It's like all that's left is that one thing.
Yeah, it's and people just want to see him win.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he can. I still think he can. We shall see.
Roman said he doesn't think he'll be back.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not counting Pat out at all.
Yeah, me neither.
No.
Okay, so that's congratulations to all our award winners. The second, I guess we're calling these the Talkies, the second annual Talkies. We'll recap really fast. Let me find, where's my sheet of paper here? I think I lost it.
I have it.
Okay, Tommy has it. No, I got it right here.
Yep.
Okay. So we got best event, that's Helena. Best competition weekend, Fit Fest takes that. Rookie of the year, Yellow Hosta. The BKG Sneaky Surprise Performance of the Year, Kelly Baker. The Story of the Year, the Budding Award, goes to the splitting of the championships off from the main CrossFit Games. Comeback Athlete of the Year, the Bronze Briggs, Emma Carey. Athlete of the Year for the women, Laura Horvath. Athlete of the Year for the men, Jeffrey Adler. And Moment of the Year, Roman Krennikov, broken foot, competing at the CrossFit Games. You guys,
those are good.
Those are good. Those are good. I'm happy with that selection. You got any big bold predictions for 2024? Last show of the year here.
Not specifically, but have you guys been following Haley Adams closely?
Yes.
I saw a post that she had with the clocks.
Yeah. I mean, that just makes me so excited.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing Haley. And that's the thing. It's like if everyone who's going to be in the women's competition, who's kind of slated to be there, you get Haley back, you get Mal O'Brien back, Tia's coming back, batten down the hatches. Like it's going to be a great season.
There's a storm coming.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear.
And then I don't know if I have any big bold predictions, but I think maybe I'll just say I think maybe this is the year Vellner finally does it.
Ooh,
maybe 2024 is where Pat Vellner wins the games and says, "I'm out. I'm done. I'm retiring. See you later." And he's going to go spend time with his family. So I'll throw that out there.
I like that.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I have seen that movie.
Well, there we go.
Finish your beverage.
That's right. Finish your beverage.
I would have had zero hope for the future if you had not said that.
Oh, man. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
My bold prediction, the Cowboys win the Super Bowl.
Woo!
Oh, God.
All right.
I couldn't even get that out without laughing.
The Dallas Cowboys they've already clinched a playoff spot.
They have.
They're in. Maybe they can get home field.
I
doubtful, but after seeing
Taylor Swift wins the Super Bowl.
Taylor Swift wins the Super Bowl. Yeah. Find a way to get her there for sure. Find a way to get the Chiefs in because seriously, if you're one of those believers in the NFL conspiracy theories, that would be one that they would want to do.
Yeah.
Get Taylor Swift into the Super Bowl and just boost those international numbers.
Did you guys see on Instagram Reels? It's probably on TikTok too, but I don't do the TikTok. It's
The
That's too
TikTok.
much. I don't do the TikTok, but it was somebody talking about conspiracy theories with the NFL, and they were looking at the graphics and the way that the colors are picked ahead of time. And every year,
Oh, for the
the
Super
colors,
Bowl?
yeah, that are supposedly like picked are always the teams that ironically make it in. Did you see that?
No, but I've heard this before.
I also
Yeah.
think there was like a very glaring hole that like that graphic gets updated with those teams'
does.
colors before, as
Yeah,
like
it does.
yeah. But
Yep.
but
Okay,
yes, I
thank
have heard
you
about that
for
one.
debunking me.
It's possible.
It is possible.
Can't trust the social media.
No, really?
The
Wow.
truth
It's
is
not
out there.
fact, people.
All right. I think that's going to do it.
Yeah. We got
Okay.
got some fun stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Right?
Thanks to Airwave, our
Mhm.
sponsor. Check them out. Airwave.com. Use the code TEF15. You'll save 15%. And they have a bunch of different models. They even have one that helps you sleep. So check it out.
Ooh.
Stuff works.
Keep that
Yeah.
airway open when you sleep.
Exactly. And it is a difference maker when you work out. Trust me, I use mine all the time.
We don't want you sawing logs.
No, airwave.com. 15% off.
We got the Tipsy Flamingo.
Tipsy Flamingo happy hour. That's right. We got to tease that. So
yay!
we're going to be in Miami for Wadapalooza Wednesday night, the night before competition starts, 6 p.m. at the establishment known as the Tipsy Flamingo. We're going to have a TEF happy hour. We're going to be partnering with Reebok to do that. So Reebok's going to give away some swag, possibly some new kicks for people. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to want to show up.
Mark your
Going to
calendar.
be part of that. We're going to have specially themed drinks. We'll all be there. I'm getting right off the plane and coming right over.
Yep. I'm excited about
and maybe some other surprises. So we'll hopefully be able to release more details as we get closer to that. But Tipsy Flamingo,
6 to 9.
6 p.m. local Mama time. Gonna be good times.
Mama.
Say Miami again.
Miami.
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 Yeah, that
Oh,
I'm
that's great.
excited for that.
Okay. All right, everybody.
I do have a community
support. Let's do it.
I
Okay.
do want to do it. Because I saw this one late and didn't saw it after the fact when it was sent, and I want to make sure we get it in before the new year. So this one was sent to us on behalf of the Fox family, for Landon Fox and his family. The parents have been longtime CrossFitters, and there's been a write-up about them already in Morning Chocolate as well. But just want to support them. So Haley and Kyle Fox, their son Landon, was recently found out to be battling kidney cancer. So earlier this month at 12/3, they took him into the children's ER where a large lump was noticed around his stomach. They performed all of the imaging and blood work, and they found a tumor on his left kidney, which was confirmed to be a Wilms tumor. So he has since gone to the Children's Hospital of Pennsylvania, gotten surgery for the removal of his kidney, along with having a port put in for chemo. Landon is still recovering from the surgery, obviously, and his parents are traveling back and forth, alternating between going to visit Landon and obviously being at home with his twin, Everett, to make sure they're looking after him as well. And so the funds raised, members of their community are raising funds to support the family as they go from 2 incomes to 1, because the mom has to take medical leave, unpaid, to be the primary caregiver for Landon and his brother while he goes through chemotherapy, and to support for the mounting medical bills as well. So obviously it's a tough scenario for the Fox family, but their community is rallying behind them. They're getting close to their goal. So putting this out there in hopes of that anyone listening can support and help them get over their goal. They are using the hashtag #GoGold for Landon. And I believe, let's see, Landon's, they don't have his age here, but he's not. Anytime you have childhood cancer, it's a tough spot. So you can go to GoFundMe.com and look up support Landon Fox, and it should pop up right away. The whole campaign is support Landon Fox and family fighting against cancer. It is organized by Brianna Mangiaruga and Stacy Mangiaruga. So, and they're in support of Haley Fox. So make sure you double check those details. And if you have the means to do so, give them support and help them rally to give Landon a fighting chance.
Absolutely. I have one as well, and I actually can put it up on the screen here. This is Pancakes for Roger Dragon Slayer competition. So they reached out to us as well.
Mm-hmm.
So veterans nonprofit Pancakes for Roger is teaming up with Dutch Kills Fitness for an awesome day of friendly competition to support veterans empowerment initiatives on February 2nd, 2024. So $75 each. Competitor gets you an entry ticket into one of the divisions, a t-shirt, other cool swag, and a chance at winning prizes for first, second, and third place. Pancakes for Roger supports the Veterans Law Clinic Zoo, an organization dedicated to helping veterans throughout the country in need with discharge upgrades and Department of Veterans Affairs disability compensation claims free of charge. There are a couple different, I think, competitions going on. February 4th in New York City and February 10th in Kansas City. Registration closes on January 17th. You can go to Competition Corner, look up Pancakes for Roger Dragon Slayer Competition NYC. Great cause, supports veterans. Wanted to get that out there. So if you're in the area and you're looking to compete and help some good folks out, Pancakes for Roger Dragon Slayer Competition.
Actually, I have one more. So obviously tomorrow I'll be rowing 24 hours with the team for the Rogue, the Standard Challenge, but it is actually for all the funds is supporting a charity, the Big Fish Foundation, run by Brian Chantosh, or
friend of the show.
Tosh, a friend of the show. We interviewed Tosh and Chris Smith as they rowed across the Atlantic in the Talisker Whiskey Challenge, and that which kind of was the impetus for this challenge as well, to support Big Fish. But it is a charity that supports veteran empowerment and transition into living meaningful, purpose-driven lives. They built on 3 pillars that support setting conditions for the positives in their lives, especially for veterans who are finding themselves absent or confused without the regiment constructs of military service. If you want to learn more about it, they do some awesome stuff, whether it's engagements, partnerships, or events that you can be a part of. Go to bigfishfoundation.org or look up the Standard Rowing Challenge, which is on Rogue's website as well. And all the proceeds from that challenge are going to go to that. So some charities we want to get behind and support as well.
Awesome. Good luck with your row.
Oof.
Lauren, you got big plans for New Year's?
No.
You're not going to be your nephew's secretary again?
No. That is a once a year thing that I will be bossed around by him.
I just pictured him opening up like a new toy, and he's like, Lauren, put this on my calendar for 2 p.m.
Yep.
Yes, but then the funny thing was, then I left because my family lives like 45 minutes from me. I left after Christmas dinner, and my sister calls me 30 minutes later. Colton is crying because he misses you already. And I'm like, he just misses having somebody to boss around and organize his toys.
Yep. All right. Well, everyone have a safe and happy New Year. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for all your support. Looking forward to a good 2024. Should be exciting. A lot of good stuff to cover, a lot of good stuff to talk about. Got Wadapalooza like right out of the gate. And again, we're going to be there on site in Miami. TEF Happy Hour, Tipsy Flamingo, Wednesday before competition. That's the 10th, right?
Yes.
The 10th, 6 p.m. local time in Miami.
Miami.
Head to Tipsy Flamingo. You're going to get some good chance to win some cool Reebok swag. Can never turn that down, especially when it's the shoes, man.
That hasn't come out yet.
Exactly. All right.
Hey.
Happy New Year, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the holidays. Thank you so much for spending the time with us. For Tommy Marquez and Lauren Khalil, I'm Sean Woodland. Take care of each other. Be better, and we will talk to you guys in 2024.